Hi, and welcome to another episode of What's New in Jenkins LTS. My name is Darren Pope. I'm a developer advocate for CloudBees, and here we are at version 2.414.3, the last of the 414 line. And along with me in an undisclosed location, I have Mark Waite. Mark, how are you doing?
Just great, Darren, although suffering a little bit from the technical challenges.
Mark is at a hotel, strike one. So that means Wi-Fi is going to be challenging today. Secondly, we don't have a good microphone, so I know he's a little bit low. I've got him up as high as we can go, so this may be a short one for a number of reasons, but this is probably one of those reasons. Yep. So here we are, the .3. Finally here at the .3. We're getting ready to go to a new version starting in about 4 weeks. But man, there was enough, how should we say, drama with this release? Maybe?
Drama is a good word for it. There's a bunch that happened in this release that is worth at least being aware of what happened.
So that's what we'll get to in just a minute. But before we get to that, Mark, if you don't mind, take us through what is Jenkins LTS.
Sure. So Jenkins releases once a week. Every 12 weeks, a new baseline is selected that is used as the baseline for a .1, then 4 weeks later a .2, and then 4 weeks later a .3. Each of those baseline, the baseline is focused on stability. We choose it carefully. Then we backport a relatively small set of fixes to be sure it's really stable and work from that stable baseline for a period of 12 weeks.
And then we end up at this part to where we're getting ready to go to the next one. Let me kick this banner off here. Yeah, I know Mark's volume is low. Unfortunately, hopefully afterwards it's going to render, and it might be better, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and get into the release notes for this release. Let me pull up the button here. So, if you've never looked at the release notes, Jenkins.io, go to download, and then under the stable side, the left-hand side, you'll see a changelog. That's where we're headed. So, as we said last Wednesday, by the way, because Mark was in California last Thursday, he's back in California again. Mark, you should probably just buy a house in California if you're going to keep doing this. So anyway, that's why we're here this Thursday, or Tuesday. It feels like Thursday. Here we are in 1.3, and the number one item in this is a security fix. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to talk about this info here at the top about the short tags?
Either is fine. They're both interesting and both useful to our users. So I'd say let's take the container tag first because it may be more of a surprise to people.
Okay. So short tags without a JDK in them, such as 413 Alpine, are now using 17 and not 11. This is going to be a much bigger conversation over the next few months. Because
it will be.
This is the first step in that way, I think, right?
Correct. Well, and this one, when you choose to use a container image that does not have the JDK explicitly in it, you are choosing that you accept whatever the Jenkins project chooses as the JDK you'll use for your container image. And that's a great choice, but it means you are delegating the choice to someone else. I prefer to enumerate my JDK versions explicitly in my container tags.
Well, you should always use that. In fact, you probably should just use the SHA for the commit and be done with it. But we won't go there now. Not that I'm biased about that. Let's talk about the security fix. And again, I'll go ahead and apologize again for Mark's audio. Nothing we can do about it today. An important security fix. Now, this wasn't just a Jenkins thing. This was hello world type level vulnerability. If you haven't looked at it yet, it's about HTTP 2. Go out and Google or search for HTTP 2 over the past month. You will see what this is all about. But what did it mean to us?
Yeah, so for the Jenkins project, actually, most administrators, as far as I can tell, and certainly I'm one of these administrators, do not enable HTTP HTTPS or HTTP2 that requires HTTPS from Jenkins itself. They use a reverse proxy like Nginx or Apache or some other reverse proxy, and therefore they would be completely unaffected by this problem.
So unless you were running, as it's specified here, HTTP to port argument or some other variation, however you get to that part of your settings, it didn't affect you. But
Correct.
if somebody decided to be smart and turn it on and you were running less than 414.3, then you would be vulnerable at that point. So
Correct.
let's get away from that. So anyway, another reason to always, I was having this conversation the other day, you want to treat your Jenkins controllers as much as you can like an appliance and not a fine crafted artisan piece of art.
Agreed. Well,
Because
we want to we want people to be ready to upgrade and to upgrade promptly and frequently. We did that with the component that delivers this fix. It was a minor release, or it was a patch level release from 10.0.16 to 10.0.17. So
Right.
not a huge change, but it's because we kept up with those versions that small upgrade was simple enough.
correct. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of the other items here. We've already started talking about the using Java 17. Has any blog post been posted yet on the Jenkins site?
No, that's
Okay,
coming.
that's coming.
We'll do a larger Java blog post over the course of the next few days or week or two.
Okay. If you're a Jenkins administrator, you're going to be wanting to keep your eyes out at jenkins.io. Better yet, subscribe to the blog feed. That way you'll get it. Everybody uses RSS still, right? I don't understand why you don't. Update to Commons Compress from 123 to 124. Okay, sure. Sounds like a good idea. This next one, though, was the big one to me. Do not create a large number of threads when making numerous HTTP requests. Nothing can go wrong with that. Thread starvation is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, so okay, so for you this one was a big deal. For me, the next one got me involved.
Okay, so let's talk about you, because the other one makes sense, right? You spin off a bunch of threads. That's probably not a good idea.
Well, and it's in high usage environments where you'll see that,
Yeah.
right? And so I tend to run a small Jenkins controller that isn't high usage.
Same with me. But here, reduce high memory usage from extreme. So what happened here?
Yeah, so what it was is the file system SCM plugin. So a plugin that implements a software configuration management plugin for Jenkins off your file system. So not Git, not Subversion, not Mercurial, not any of the usual SCM providers. It uses the file system as though it were SCM, was making an implementation error, and that implementation error exposed a memory leak in the Extreme library. That memory leak has been fixed and better off. Now, most people should not use file system SCM at all, right? Use Git, use Subversion, use Perforce, use one of the many other SCM systems. File systems are good as file systems. They're not really great choices for SCM systems.
You heard it here first. You need to be using Subversion. There we go.
Oh, I did not say that.
You did. Just not directly, but okay. Okay, a couple of other items, some telemetry about security configurations. Windstone was upgraded from 12 to 14. This was, again, the security advisory. And then restoring context menus of model links and build history views and administrative monitors. Which means the menus were there, then they weren't, and now they're back.
That's right.
And that's this release. By the way, just so we can keep track of it here, you should always take a look at the LTS upgrade guide. Always, always, always. But in this case, even when I look at it, no notable changes. So still take a look at it. And you want to see that, by the way. That makes for a good day when you see that one line, because that line probably is a static message somewhere. I would have to guess, because it's always the same when that does come up. Okay, so we're now at the end of 414. Yay. We're headed towards 426, I think.
Yes.
So 426 will be out in 4 weeks.
Correct.
We will be back in 4 weeks to talk about that, which there should be a lot of changes in that. Thankfully. Thankfully, unthankfully, whatever. We'll be beginning close to all the holiday seasons as well. By the way, it has been published, so we can talk about it. Or has it been published? Now that I'm saying it, I probably shouldn't. We should have talked about this before. There's going to be a 2-week delay around the end of December. That has been published, correct?
Well, it's been requested, and I've proposed it, and it's in
Okay.
all the schedules that I've suggested. So nobody's pushed back and said, no, that's a bad idea.
Right. So that means in 4 weeks, the .1 will come out. 4 weeks after that, the .2 will come out. But then 6 weeks will be at the .3. Okay. Why is that? Because for some reason, people take off those last 2 weeks in the first week of January. I don't understand. It's almost like there's a holiday there or something. I don't get it. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway. Okay. Just so people aren't like, Mark, can't you get a better mic? Mark's not at home. He's at a hotel. He's at a meeting, a very important meeting that we won't discuss. I just know he's maybe getting tired of flying to California every week, but we'll see. At least you're in the middle of the country. For you, going either direction is about the same.
Right.
So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for being here with us on this shortened, abridged version. Unabridged? It was unabridged and abridged all at the same time. And we will see you again in 4 weeks. Thanks, Mark. And have a fun time in California.
Thanks, Darren.
See ya. Bye.